Okay, so very happy to be speaking here. It's my second time in this office, and I'm going to mention it during the presentation. So my presentation is called How to Not Get Banned on Reddit. Anyone here uses Reddit? Okay, at least few people, so I'm not going to be speaking to some of you know it. It's a journey about building, almost getting banned on Reddit, and using AI to save the day. So after Christmas last year, I finally got some time to relax and play games, and a new game just came up. It's called Path of Exile 2. I don't know if we have any players around in our room. Any Path of Exile? Oh, at least one. Perfect. So a Path of Exile 2 is similar to Diablo, a game where you kill a lot of monsters and you gain levels, etc. So essentially a huge dopamine booster to anyone who is lacking dopamine. I think programming isn't usually giving a lot of dopamine, so having a game like that is always necessary to improve. So I love playing this game, but there's one problem with it. It's very complex. You can see absolutely nothing on the slide, but you gotta believe me that this is a graph which has around, I think, 1,000 nodes. And when you create a character in this game, you have to pick like 50 from this 1,000 plus a lot of other combinations. So essentially, it's not only about killing monsters, but also like theory crafting, picking the best build, etc., etc. So when you play this game, you need to understand how it works, because later in the game, if you die, you lose experience. So your character has to be built correctly unless you want to stay on the same point for all of the game, and I don't want to do that. So you need to research, or you need to play the game a lot to get better. Or you can stop playing and start coding. So my idea was, because there's a lot of builds all over the internet, YouTube videos, Reddit posts, you also get a lot of forums, special sites. And the game is constantly changing. It was just released, so everyone is like theory crafting and building. We're all building together as a community, similar to this meetup. There is too much time spent on researching and not enough playing. Here you can see one of the websites. It's called Mobalytics. It compiles a lot of builds. Here is another website, here is another website, and more and more and more. So my idea was to aggregate all of those builds together, put them on one web page, and give some extended filters. So we began development on New Year's Eve. Fun fact, the first presentation I gave here was on Valentine's Day, like 2 years ago, I think, or 2 years ago on Valentine's Day, I gave a presentation here. So usually when it's an important day, I program a lot. So we wanted to build a quick prototype of an application, scrape data from different community sites and rank those and give a summary and maybe a cool user experience for users to use this application. When it comes to architecture, because some of you might be interested in it, it's a very simple solution. We just have a simple Remix application that is hosted on a VPS on Hetzner behind a Cloudflare proxy. It goes to users. There is a simple SQLite database. I suggest looking into SQLite if you don't want to spend a lot of time on configuring stuff. But the meat The most interesting part is the data processing and the data sources. And here we have the scrapers and data processing pipeline, which essentially means go to that website, grab stuff from it, and put it in the database in our structure to let us show it to the user in one place. So from Mobalytics, Maxroll, and we also in our MVP use POE2DB for the metadata. This is a summary. I'm not going to show you the whole website because you probably won't understand it unless you're playing the game. The important part is that we've compiled, after gathering this data, we wanted to make some fuss on the internet and show the most popular builds right now. I watch some Mr. Beast, so the top 10s, etc. It's a thing that triggers my brain. And for a lot of community, it also works. So we prepared a list like this. And it looks okay. Each character has a percentage and the build has a percentage. So we've released this as a post on Reddit, on 2 subreddits. We started to gain some traction, but after like 2 hours, both of the posts got removed. And I got serious warnings because the mod team decided that the posts are no meme joke, low effort. Even though I spent 3 days building this solution, it turned out that it's low effort. And why was that? Because I made a mistake. And this was a big mistake, and I didn't spend enough time on it. You see, as I've said previously, this game is very complicated. And when you're building the characters, you not only pick skills, but also passives, you pick equipment, etc. And what defines a build, which we've decided, was here is the small first skill. So we've decided that both the invoker and ice strike, those are the 2 things that define a build, and we grouped by it. And it turns out it was a bad solution. Even I wrote a bit of naive code to show how it looks. So we've gathered builds, we've picked the first skill gem, and later we've grouped the skills by the skill gem. Then we've calculated the percentage of the whole, and we've released it. And this is a naive approach, a very naive approach, which gave us this list. This is a naive approach of the first skill gem on the list, because sometimes the builds are not defined by the first skill gem. They can be defined by other skills, or multiple skills, or passive skills, or equipment, or a combination of all of those above. So imagine you're a druid and you're using a wand, which you fire fireballs, then you're a fireball druid. But if you add an ice wall to it, you're a elemental druid. You're no longer a fire druid, you're an elemental druid, etc., etc. So how did we handle this? First of all, being almost banned on the subreddit that I really like this no-go. I would have to make an alt account. So we've decided to not give up and use AI to the rescue. And our concept was to extract key build information from unstructured pages, group builds by this key information, and generate natural language names for the builds. So instead of how we previously did it, we only had the groups defined by the first skill. We've created interfaces. I'm an interface guy. I'm not sure. I'm an interface guy, not a type alias guy. So we've created interfaces, which what we've called build definers, which can be a skill gem, passive, equipment, or a combination. Each of those has a name, an importance, and a reason for why we think it's important. And when we're extracting those responses, there's a main definer and secondary definers. So we essentially take all of the build data that we previously had here, we put it into a prompt. Here is a simplified version of the raw HTML also here. It wasn't that simple, but it's just for you to understand. We've built fill all of the stuff into OpenAI. We define a response schema which matches exactly this AI extract response. Here for a simplification, this is a JSON schema object. You can define it in the new versions of OpenAI as ZOD object if anyone uses that, or different types of ways to ensure type safety. Yeah, and then you can just call OpenAI API. We didn't use GPT-4o Mini. I host my own models in my home, so we've used that. But here is an example. You can call a 4o Mini with a system prompt URI path of exile to build analyzer, extract key information, and later the JSON schema itself is a big help for the AI to extract this information. Then we use this extracted information to update the builds that we already scrapped from the database with the new information. And later we can group by this. We can group by this by, instead of using the ascendancy and just the main skill, we can group, for example, here by the main definer, or we can group by a combination of this. I've simplified the solution right here. Just a bit of grouping code, very simple stuff. Overall, around, I don't know, 50 lines of code. The whole AI, together with the schema definition, I would say around 200 lines of code, but it's self-explanatory. It's not logic. It's just a definition of what has to be extracted. And as a output, you would get the build type melee, for example, the main definer being a skill gem called Frostblades, and the class being called Raider. Raider does not exist in this game, but as an example, it would be a Frostblade Raider. You can also group those things by different combination of the main and secondary definers. You can join them, whatever you want to do. Everything is okay. So we've compiled the lists. As you can see, the lists look very similar to the previous one. I don't have a slide here. I've noticed it right today. So the list is very similar. I would even say that the first 3 options are exactly the same. The 4th option is almost the same, and the 5 options below are different. So submitting 2 days later to the same subreddit with a hope that I would not get a low effort information again, I did it. I submitted it to my Reddit account, to the subreddit, and I went for a pizza with my friends. And when I was there, my phone began to ring almost constantly, and it was because of my email account. Because the community reaction, you probably cannot see it. I cannot enlarge it, but each of those is a email that I've got from happy community members commenting essentially, amazing work. Wow, such an amazing tool. Ping me as well, really cool idea. Thanks, looking forward to it, and etc., etc. So because of spending a bit of time, because this improvement took like 1 more workday, vacation day. We even got a donation, a coffee donation. This post, rather than being banned, got 800,000 views, 95% upvote rate, and 1.2K comments in like 24 hours or 48 hours, but the second 24 hours was meaningless. It has managed to reach some streamers, some from all over all over the world, in Korea, in Japan, in Russia, in America, and obviously like all over the world, in Spain, in Portugal, Argentina. So you cannot even see the previous peak was around this. And this one post that we've pushed, as I've said, evening later, 2 days later, reached a huge amount of users. Later it dropped. And when we were developing the app further, it was reaching more and more people constantly. So the important lesson from this is there is a very small difference between the output being terrible and awesome. It's a matter of one workday, and it might define if your app is terrible or awesome, if the community loves it or not. The second part is that the AI can bridge the gap between messy data and useful insights for everyone. It's a matter of few lines of code and a good prompt, and that the community feedback is invaluable. I would say that I didn't learn about this game as much until I received all this critique. Then I knew all of the characters, which behaves which way, why this build does not make sense, why this makes sense, even though I didn't play the game anymore. Fun fact, after releasing the application, I've spent 0 hours in the game. Although I spent like 100 hours developing the app further. So those are the current analytics from the last 7 days. We've had 1,600 unique visitors. The visit duration is nice, 4.4 minutes. And because we've added ads, I have had a presentation like 2 years ago or 3 years ago also on WarsawJS when I said how to make a game that makes you $2. This time, for the previous month from AdSense, we've gained 45 PLN. Yeah. Plus like $7 from donations. So, it's like serious business. So that's all that I had prepared for today. If you have any questions or want to talk later about the projects, I'll be happy to. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michał. As always, appreciating. I hear that Elon Musk is playing this game.
Oh,
haven't you tried to get him involved in it?
yeah, I've tagged him in like three. No, he pretends that he's playing the game. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah,
this is the time for you to.
Yeah, we've tagged him in like 3 X posts. One like got a bit of traction, and like the first release of this application from like the first feedback we've gathered was before the Elon Musk stuff, him playing, but this post was directly connected to the we've said like the top. It was a compilation of most popular builds of which celebrities play which builds, and we in this list Elon Musk was like top 1. Like Elon Musk was top 1, and we got a lot of traction from that post. Yeah, so we've used that. Thanks for the question.
Okay, so first one is technical question. Do you scrub the website from whom you take the data, or they provide you any
we scrap, but through an API. So essentially, we pretend we are users. Is this gonna be like later on the internet? No, we're not breaking any terms of service. Yeah, I even talked to the owners of the pages. We reverse engineered the APIs, and we're using that. It's not easy because those pages, for example, have the data from descriptions is in a what you see is what you get format. So editors, it's not simple HTML or Markdown. So we had to re-implement it on our side to scrap it, and a lot of time spent implementing that. Yeah.
You said you were hosting your own model.
I mean, in home on my PC, where I'm working currently, like I've moved to a 5.4 model lately, but previously, plus with this project, a Qwen 2.5, Qwen 2.5. Yeah, instruction fine-tuned, and if you're using AI for anything app related, the most important part is the JSON schema stuff. So essentially, this part, it's super important to define it in your response schema. It improves the quality of the model responses a lot. Okay. Thank you very much.
Warsaw.